Coming up on DC News Now at 4. New court tapes. What the family of the judge's accused killer said hours before the murder.
The lower 80s are here. We'll let you know just how long these warm temperatures last.
Not everyone likes shopping in stores, so how can you make the most of online thrifting, stretching your dollar for the best deals? Plus, the new look Washington Wizards open their season tonight, what to expect from the new faces and returning veterans.
The station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
And thanks for joining us on this Wednesday for DC News Now at 4. I'm Mark Hall.
And I'm Tosa Fakile in for Annalisa this afternoon. We're learning more about the hours leading up to the murder of a Hagerstown, Maryland judge. New recordings from inside Judge Andrew Wilkinson's courtroom last Thursday paints a troubling picture of that suspect's past.
In that hearing, Tosin, Judge Wilkinson gave custody of Pedro Agote's children to his wife, and that decision is believed to have sparked Agote's attack on Judge Wilkinson later that day.
And our Randy Bass is live outside the Washington County Courthouse in Hagerstown tonight. So, Randy, what did you hear on those tapes?
Yeah, Tosin, Mark, we went through hours of back and forth on those court tapes earlier today. Some of it so disturbing, some of those alleged details about Pedro Agote's past, just painting a picture of abuse and control as laid out by his wife and daughter. We do want to warn you, though, some of these details are so just traumatic and upsetting that we won't broadcast them here on DC News Now. Some of that testimony you're about to hear from his daughter, we just can't play it. It's so traumatic.
He would make me very aware of the fact that there were cameras in the house and that he was watching my every move.
Yeah, that's some of that testimony from Agote's adult daughter from last Thursday. She reveals she's still working through trauma from her childhood and teenage years. She says she was, quote, beaten relentlessly almost every day with anything he had nearby and would shove her into her mattress to stop her from screaming. She said he kept her confined to her bedroom with those cameras watching over her in the house through most of her teenage years, saying she was also emotionally abused by her father during that time. She says he was also physically abusive to her younger siblings, even when they were infants.
I could hear in the middle of the night from my room my dad slamming the crib against the wall to get her to be quiet. And she was not even a year old.
Yeah, one of the most upsetting details laid out in court last week, his wife alleged that Agote would shove a towel into their baby's mouth to stop the baby from crying. Keep in mind, Pedro Agote was not in court last Thursday. He called the court before that hearing saying he had a headache. He did not show up. Judge Wilkinson went forward with hearing more testimony without him there. Mark.
Well, Randy, where do things stand in the search for Agote tonight? Have you heard anything from police?
Yeah, I had a chance to reach out to deputies earlier today, Mark. They tell me no new information to release to the public and no plans for any additional chances to talk with them today in terms of trying to get any additional details out of them. They say the last update that we've all heard at this point is the car that was found over the weekend, Agote's silver SUV, was found in Williamsport, not far from Hagerstown, near a train track. Now, they found the car, but they didn't find him. The search at this point is still very much ongoing, and anybody with any information at all is urged to get in touch with authorities. Live in Hagerstown, I'm Randy Bass, DC News Now.
Randy, thank you for that important update. And we've learned the funeral for Judge Wilkinson is Friday morning. Visitation for Judge Andrew Wilkinson will be held tomorrow from 3 to 7 p.m. at the Douglas A. Fiery Funeral Home. The funeral begins at 10 a.m. Friday at St. Anne Catholic Church in Hagerstown. Wilkinson will be buried in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. And be sure to stick with us here on air and online at DCNewsNow.com for the latest on the search for Pedro Agote.
All right, Tosin, let's talk about the weather. Let's take a look outside. My goodness, another beautiful day in the region.
It really is. Let's get over to meteorologist Damon Matson for a first look. And Damon, You and I both know we prefer the cold, so I don't understand what the 70-degree temperature is. I don't get it.
You're sitting right next to Mark, too, and he loves it chilly. He loves it out there. So we're all in agreement. I like that.
Match made in heaven.
Yes, yes, indeed. But hey, I know a lot of folks don't mind this warmer air as it started getting colder. Yeah, people were wondering, hey, is it going to stay this cold? So it's that back and forth. And those people that love the warm weather are basking in this right now. We are pretty much reaching the peak warmth of the day out there at this current moment. Look at the low 80s. They're back across northern Virginia and Luray. I cannot believe that temperature right there. Up to 88 into some of the valleys there in the Shenandoah Valley. Now, D.C. still at 75. Same with Frederick. And then you have Hagerstown at 73. So there is that slight divide. Some locations have stayed cooler. And more importantly, some of the main climate sites across the region where we have these record highs for today's date at 80 degrees, BWI, Reagan, over toward Dulles as well. It looks like we will stay just cool enough at those specific locations that we don't hit any new records. And we do, though, stay in those upper 70s, even those lower 80s out there for a little while longer. But once that sun sets, we do see that typical cool down heading later into the evening and the start of the night, but only back down into the 60s. Yes, we'll be seeing this more mild air even during the overnight hours here going into this Wednesday night and beyond toward the end of the week. But the question is, how long does this warm weather last, and how cold could it get by the time we get into the extended forecast? We'll have a full look at that coming up here in just a bit.
Damon, thank you. A Virginia inmate who escaped custody in August has been captured in Springfield, Virginia. 21-year-old Nassim Rulak got away from officers on Monsure's St. Mary's Hospital, and DOC says that Rulak was captured around 9 this morning by U.S. Marshals and Fairfax Police. They say that he tried to escape, but investigators at the hotel by jumping out of a third-story window with an assault rifle. After a short chase, he was captured and taken to a local hospital. Well, developing now, another bomb threat forces evacuation at a Montgomery County high school. This time, it's Springbrook High School. It's the second school evacuated for a threat today and the fourth in just the last 36 hours. Albert Einstein High School was also evacuated this morning and given the all clear several hours later.
And in Montgomery County, a 12-year-old was the source of 7 different bomb threats placed throughout the county. That is according to police. Those threats happened over the last 2 weeks at Blair High School, Oakview Elementary, and Silver Spring International School. Police say the 12-year-old was fully aware because of their age they could not be charged with anything that did not constitute a crime of violence. Police say investigating these threats requires a significant financial and operation cost from the department. Well, at 4:08, outrage this hour from Jewish students at George Washington University after a Palestinian student group displayed anti-Semitism, anti-Israel, and anti-Semitic words at the school library.
Yeah, and university police told, officials told those police to order them to leave, but it's left many students feeling unsafe on campus. Daniel Hamburg is at the Gelman Library at GW to show us what happened Tuesday night.
Tensions were high here Tuesday night at Gelman Library as projection showed words on the front of the building such as "Glory to our martyrs" and "Free Palestine from the river to the sea."
There is no other way to interpret that other than supporting the mass murder of the Jewish people who are living between the river and the sea.
A group of 3 to 4 students sat around a projector for more than 2 hours displaying different messages. Eventually, more Jewish students showed up and called campus police. The university says the projections violated university policy and leadership ensured the projections were removed. Still, many students say they feel uncomfortable on campus now because they see these messages as not just against Israel, but anti-Semitic.
Seeing messages that directly celebrate the people who are committing these kinds of atrocities and a huge screen in the center of campus is horrifying.
Ultimately, we should be coming together to stop violence once and for all, and on this campus stopping hate, because it's not helping anybody. It's not helping the Israelis, and it's not helping the Palestinians. It's not helping Jews. It's not helping Muslims. It's not helping anyone.
The university says it's reviewing the incident and will take any appropriate steps with respect to the individuals involved in accordance with university policy. In Foggy Bottom, Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
And GW isn't the only university dealing with this. An American university is responding to anti-Palestinian messaging found under an office door on campus. They say that office belongs to a Palestinian staff member. This comes after anti-Semitic graffiti was found on campus last week. The university is now getting the FBI involved in both incidents.
Of DC News Now is your local election headquarters. And months after Governor Glenn Youngkin and Republicans launched their Secure Your Vote initiative, encouraging Republicans to vote early, it appears the campaign's working. According to the Virginia Public Access Project, as of Sunday, Republicans were responsible for 39% of in-person early voting. Across the state, an increase of 8% from 2021. The last time Virginia held state elections. Now it's important to note that the analysis is based on an algorithm that estimates that partly because Virginia voters do not register to vote by political party. Rich Maher is the professor of political science at Randolph-Macon College.
I think you have to say that his Secure Your Vote initiative is at least a mild success, right? I think the evaluation of whether it's a success or not will decide in November, right, when we see exactly how much of an effect it had on turnout.
Again, the last day of in-person voting in Virginia, November 4th, and absentee ballots must be postmarked on or before Election Day.
And a heads up, Virginia voters, this Friday, October 27th, is your last day to request an absentee ballot by mail for November's general election. Those requests must be received by your local election office by Friday at 5 p.m. Now, you can still place an in-person request by next Saturday, November 4th. Visit your local election office for that. And if you're voting absentee, the deadline to submit those ballots is Tuesday, November 7th by 7 p.m.
Well, Tosin, it's that time of the year. Basketball season is underway, or NBA basketball season is underway, as the Washington Wizards tip off their season tonight in Indiana.
I'm no longer a basketball fan, but I am excited for the Wizards. A new season with some new faces on the Wizards roster. Our sports director, Derek Forrest, joins us in the studio with a preview of tonight's season. What's up, Derek?
Yeah, the Washington Wizards, they're going to tip off their regular season slate as they are on the road with the Indiana Pacers later tonight. And while the preseason has been interesting to watch as the new guys of Jordan Poole, Bilal Coulibaly, and Tyus Young and others get adjusted to Washington's expectations aren't high for this team, who's going through a rebuild under a new front office. Now, while the team has potential to be fun to watch, Wes Unseld Jr. has his own expectations for the team as they grow this year.
I want us to get out of context or play out of character. Continue to do the things that we've had success in through the preseason. Lean in on the priorities that we've established through training camp and see where it goes. Of course, we've got a group of competitive guys, so they're going to go out and do the best they can. But bottom line is, are we playing the right way?